Welcome to another episode of Dad's Rules with Kevin Belzer. As you can see, I am out on location. This is my local park, the community park up in Anthem, Arizona. And it is a absolutely gorgeous March day. So I want to cover a little bit more what I discussed the other day. I was talking about the rule that I'm working through, and I brought this up a few times since that episode with people, and they seem to really like it. The episode was about the how can I help you rule. So I'm still working through it. It'll be in the third Dad's Rules book. I understand we still need to publish the second one, which it is done. I just need to get it, the cover finalized, get off to the printer. We've already edited, everything else is done, and then we can launch that. Also, real quick, we are going to be relaunching the first book, Dad's Rules for Being a Kick-Ass Adult. That one will have approximately 20 additional pages in it, and it'll have a new cover on it as well. It's going to be the second edition of it. The first one went bestseller. Decided after 6 years that I wanted to rework some things in it, how it flowed from rule to rule. The rules will still be the same order they are, but I mean within the rules, how the chapters flow, it'll change a little bit, do some minor corrections in there, and add a little bit bonus content as well. So really excited to get that out to everybody. The second one is absolutely banger. Went on a podcast last week where we not only talked about the rule I'm going to go over here in a minute, but we covered some other rules on there that are highlighted in the second book, Dad's Rules, Get Off My Lawn. So anyway, I was a guest on Michael Jansen's podcast. We're planning on splicing that up and giving it out as episodes of Dad's Rules podcast as well. The content was just so freaking good. We spoke for an hour and a half, and if I hadn't had an appointment, we would have kept going. That's how good it was. I honestly think we could have gone for 3 hours. Afterwards, we're like, we got to definitely get back together, do it again. It's probably going to be a regular thing to where we just end up on each other's podcasts because we click, we get along really well. We definitely jive very, very smoothly from topic to topic. And yeah, we just click. So anyway, look forward to that here in the next month or so. Whenever I get the edits back on it, we'll definitely be putting on here and also be releasing real content from that too. So back to this rule, the how can I help you? So I wanted to expound on this. There's a reason that you want to ask people how I can help you. And it's actually 3 reasons. And then I'm going to give you a bonus out of it as well. So reason number 1 is that how do I want to break this down? You're going to find out whether they're one of 3 different people. You're going to find out if they're just venting, if they're complaining and they don't want your help, or if you can actually help them. The reason that you want to do this rule is so that you can cause somebody to create a shift in them. So they're venting or complaining or whatever. You're going to cause them to pause, because most people are not going to ask them, how can I help you? They're just going to let them say their thing. They're not going to say anything, or they're just going to agree with them. Nothing really beneficial. However, if you ask someone, how can I help you? It's going to cause them to have to take a pause and ask themselves, okay, do I just want to complain? Because you do want to know this. Can I actually help somebody or not? So there are those people that they just are complainers. They're going to complain and bitch about everything in life, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. They all need to take a page out of rule number 15, which is 30-minute whine. Whatever you have to complain about in life, you have 30 minutes. Complain, whine, get angry, frustrated, whatever. But when 30 minutes are up, you are never, ever going to complain about this ever again in your life. And people are like, wow, that's pretty dramatic. Is that for everything? Yes, it's literally for everything. And if you start applying rule number 15, if you found yourself that you were complaining about things from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever, that if you start applying rule number 15, the 30-minute wine, your life will be so much more kick-ass. So I digress. So first and foremost, find out, are they just a complainer? If they are, well, you know where they stand. And don't you want to know where people stand? I would hate to be giving people advice that are never going to take it and just be wasting my time. I need to know if I need to move on, limit their time in my circle. So that's why I say, ask them, how can I help you? Because it's going to cause them to pause, and you're going to find it right away if they're just a complainer. So obviously nothing you can do about the complainer. The next one is the ones that vent. Now the ones that vent, the reason they're different from the complainer is they may be venting to get the thought out. They're actually working their way through it by talking about it. It's going to sound like they're complaining, but they're not. They're venting it out. They want to figure it out. Any of you people that are married out there, you're going to understand this. Your wife does not want you to necessarily solve her problems. She just wants you to listen. So they're venting to you because they just need somebody to listen. And they will let you know when they actually need you to chime in and give a solution. Now, that does not mean that you cannot say, how can I help you? Because they may just say, I just need somebody to listen to me. I'm just really frustrated. I'm going to work this out on my own. I don't want you to give me the solution. However, I just need somebody to be a good ear. That's it. The third one is the one that actually does need your help and wants you to solve the problem. This is absolutely beautiful. I've done this. I mentioned it on I think I mentioned it on the last podcast. I know I mentioned it on Michael's podcast that I had 3 different situations where they were overwhelmed. When I said, how can I help you? One flat out said, I'm overwhelmed. Okay, well, what can I do to help you? I had another one that they said that they were frustrated. So then how can I help you? And we worked our way through that. So it's absolutely beautiful, beautiful, simple line. How can I help you? Now, for bonus content. Now this is something that hit me this week. I'm in a group thread with distant relatives. A lot of I haven't seen in decades, but we're all in the same Facebook thread. It helps us keep up on what's going on in people's life. Could be everything from so-and-so's getting married to so-and-so's in the hospital, say some prayers, whatever the case would be. Well, there was one on there, and this was absolutely sad. This one was of someone that found out 2 weeks ago that she had pancreatic cancer. And 2 weeks later, she got sick, was not able to battle it, and died 2 weeks after she found out she had cancer. So you also have to look at this rule, and this is where I want to expand on it a little bit more, is look at this rule and go also, when you ask yourself, how can I help you? Ask yourself that as well. How can you help yourself? How can you make yourself better? And what hit me when I found out about this relative that passed away is I asked myself, have I put my family in a good financial situation? Have I set them up to where if something happens to me, like God forbid I die in a car accident? I mean, I've been in several car accidents in my life and always walked away, but anything can happen. I had asked myself, I set them up financially secure if something happens to me. What if something happens to my wife? Are we set up to handle all this? And so then I had to turn the question on myself and go, how can I help myself long term to where if something happens, I'm in a better situation? So that's a little bit of bonus thing that I wanted to put in your ear, is that if you had to ask yourself, have you done everything yourself to set your family up to provide for them long term if something happens to you? The answer is no. Ask yourself the question, how can I help myself? All right. So quick little podcast. on this one. This has just been on my mind. When I saw about the family member and whatnot, I was like, I really need to keep talking about this. I've been on guests on a few podcasts here in the last couple weeks, and I've continued to bring this rule up and gotten a lot of good feedback about it. Talked to some people offline as well, and they're like, I really like this one. So we're definitely going to move forward with it. I'm still ironing some stuff out, still working through it. So that's why I'm throwing it on the podcast as well, because I just want to throw it out there. And it'll also, I can transcribe this, and I've got notes to play off and go, okay, I like this, need to fine tune that. Because once I get the rules out to you guys, I just want to make sure that we are crystal clear dialed in on everything. All right. So if you like the episode, like, share, comment, review, leave feedback. Also hit the Dad's Rule swag shop as well. That helps me out, helps grow the show. We got the kick-ass shirts, which are pretty kick-ass. See what I did there? Until next time, go out and be the kick-ass adult that I know you all can be.